My very long millennial love story. Some of you might remember me as the crazy, almost 50-year-old lady who always writes about her seemingly wonderful and happy marriage. It sometimes seems made up and too good to be true, I know. I've been contemplating sharing my love story and journey to marriage since a while now. But it's a long story, it spans to decades. And I've wondered who would even have the patience to read it all. Anyway, here it is, for those of you who might be interested. FYI a warning, it's a long-ass story, so please skip if that would be a deterrent. Asterisk names changed to protect privacy. 2000. I had just appeared for my HSC exams. Internet was fairly new in India and the popularity of internet chat rooms was at its peak. If you've watched the late 90s rom-com You've Got Mail, you'll know what I'm talking about. I had a nice desktop computer then, with a dial-up internet connection, and was rather addicted to visiting these internet chat rooms in my post-HSC vacation. In one such chat room, I became friends with a guy called Obby who was my age and turned out to be my cousin's classmate in a top college in my city. Having established that Obby was no creep, and after having met him in person sometime later, I became good friends with him. Through him, I discovered Merc, a chat website which exists even today. It's sort of the equivalent of Discord, but on a PC browser. In those days, it was a rage and frequented by people from around the globe. And of course no one would use their real names. My virtual name, there was that of a character from the sitcom Friends, which was immensely popular then. Obby virtually introduced me to some of his internet friends there. Thanks to my obvious female virtual name, I used to get a lot of wanna make friendship type messages from random guys. One day, a guy Sid sent me a hi how are you type DM in the chat room, claiming he was Abby's friend. Because of the reference, I responded he seemed decent to talk to, polite and fluent in English, which I used to consider as a sort of benchmark for guys who I'd consider befriending. Anyways, that month, the moderators of Merc decided to have an in-person meet in our city, which I was all set to attend. However, Abby asked me to avoid going for it as he wondered what kind of turnout he would have. He felt that guys who seemed decent online can be creeps IRL. He attended the meet and told me that most people who turned up were males, and one of them was Sid, who was apparently the most decent guy there. Sid was 2 years older to me, and in his second year of engineering. Around this time, my HSC results were out, and I decided to pursue engineering myself. Soon enough, I found myself chatting online more and more with Sid, and he recommended some tuition classes for first-year Eng subjects. We soon discovered that we had so much to talk about and a lot in common, and our online chats would go on for hours together. We moved from Merc to Messengers, Yahoo Messenger and MSN. Messenger were the popular ones in India back then. As the next step, we did exchange phone numbers. I kept in touch with him and could safely call him a good friend by the end of the year 2001. Life was taking its own course, and I was drawn to a guy in my class in engineering college Nishant. And before I knew it, we were dating. Things were going smooth with him, and being the emotional fool that I am, I had already started thinking of a future with him. All this while, I was still in touch with Sid, and learned that he too was in a relationship with someone at that time. We both were really happy for each other and remained friends. 2002. This year was the worst one of my life so far. In the first week of the year, I lost my father suddenly and very unexpectedly. He was quite young and it was a shock to the entire family. And my mum was inconsolable and in depression. So I had the task of looking after her with my close relatives. Help and had to also appear for my third semester exams. They were already underway when Dad passed away. I was still with Nishant, and around March-April that year, cracks started appearing in the relationship. He told me that he thought I'd changed. Of course I had. My life had turned upside down. Finally, in November that year, he broke up with me. I later found out that he liked another girl, a junior in our college, and I was absolutely shattered. During this time, Sid gave me support and encouragement that I'd be fine and would get over my heartbreak with time. He stood by me and was a true friend who convinced me that life has its ways of making up for all the crap it throws at us from time to time. 2003. Turns out that sometime in 2003, Sid's relationship with his GF also ended. and we got into the mode of chatting online and occasionally on phone once again. He was also going through some personal problems then, and I was there for him virtually as much as I could because he was such a good and sweet guy. Finally, in 2003, we decided to meet in person at a McDonald's outlet in our city. The cafe culture was yet to hit India. Both of us were extremely shy, and the first meeting was somewhat awkward initially, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that he was the conventional tall and handsome type of guy. However, more than his good looks, it was the fact that we could connect so well on every level that first brought that question to my mind. Could we be more than friends? I had no clue what impression I had on him, and I did not want to ruin such a wonderful friendship at any cost. So, after this first meeting, we spoke on phone just as always and continued sharing our lives with each other.